Will artificial intelligence be the end for video editors? I don't know, but let's find out. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is the simulation of human intelligence in machines, enabling them to perform tasks like learning, reasoning, problem solving, and decision making. In other words, AI is really something that we have created in order to complete a task that we designate to it. It's not exactly free thinking, but for the purposes of video creation, artificial intelligence is definitely a very controversial topic, and I think very interesting as it relates to the future of this industry. I prepared kind of a pro and a con list so we can kind of go through what are some of the possible good reasons why AI could or would replace video editing. Also some of the bad things that could come with artificial intelligence being implemented into that process. First off, a pro is that for a lot of mundane tasks, tedious tasks that every kind of editor is all too familiar with, AI is going to be able to do a lot of those things essentially just as good as us and so much faster. This kind of brings us to the first con, which is that it will follow that task, but it will lack the human touch. It won't know, oh, maybe I should hold that shot just a half a second longer. Another pro or con, I suppose, depending how you look at this, depending who you ask, and depending who's paying for it, is that AI will reduce a lot of the hours worked on projects, which in turn will reduce costs. Now, this is kind of a double-edged sword. You know, obviously, I'm sure a lot of studios and producers would appreciate not having to pay as much. And I think that a lot of editors themselves would probably be a little bit upset if their hours were suddenly, you know, cut significantly. I think AI will reduce a lot of the jobs available in general. I think there's a lot of editing jobs that end up being quite tedious, and I think a lot of these tasks will be pretty easily completed by an AI. And I think that really that kind of, from a selfish perspective, that's kind of the best implementation of artificial intelligence in editing would be reduce all the tedium of my work, get it out of here, and then I can focus fully on the creative aspect, fully on what's the emotional result that I'm looking to produce, and not get too worried about spending hours organizing, trimming, and just kind of like getting things into place. It's really just making a few very important decisions in your edit that will translate to the emotional result that you're trying to produce. And that's really up to the editor and the director or the writer or producer. And it's up to them to decide what those feelings are that they want to produce. And that's really the core of the editor's job. And I don't believe that that's something that artificial intelligence would be able to replicate. Finish off, I don't think that AI will replace editors, but I do think that it will change the industry dramatically. And I don't think editors, video editors, CG artists, audio editors will be the only ones affected by this. I think AI will start to pop up in all facets of everything, because let's face it, if we can do more in less time, we will. And it's just about finding the way to go about that where the creative integrity remains and where our empathy for one another still exists, so that we're not just replacing jobs with computers, we are arming people with computers to do their jobs better, to do more with their jobs, and to do jobs that we might not have imagined yet. So I don't believe that has to be a negative thing, but I do think it will be a pretty, I do believe it will be a monumental change, momentous change. I don't know. I think it will be a big deal. I think it will be a big deal.